Hi there. Today I'm going to be tasting the first beer that I made at the BOP brewery at Kyuchi. There was a little bit of a fiasco behind this because I was told to make a 15-liter batch of beer. And this was while a guy named Ben Neidhart had come from B United International from the States. It's a distributing company. And I was asked to make a couple beers with him. Kind of as some presents that we'll be sending on in the next couple of weeks over to the States. But we came up with the idea of making an American Pale Ale and a stronger stout, around 8% or so. But because we were asked to make 15-liter recipes, I came up with the recipe and was making the beer, had all my calculations correct. But then they started adding all of this water, and I was wondering what was going on because I was diluting the beer that I had made. In fact, 15 liters was the yield that they were looking for, and their system at Kyuchi is a bit wasteful to a degree. You lose up to about 10 liters of beer every time you brew. So I actually needed to make a 25-liter recipe and then just take 15 liters of that beer and put it into bottles, or into the fermenter first, of course. So we had to amend the recipes a little bit. We boiled a bit longer to get the gravities that we needed, but we had to really lower the gravities quite a bit. On the fly again, of course, too. We didn't find this out until sparging, or the rinsing of the grains. So we had to change some hop additions as well. So I have tasted this, but let's see what we're dealing with a week later. The starting gravity that I was going to have for the IPA was going to be 1055, and that would have given about 5.5 to 5.8% alcohol for the American Pale Ale. However, this one, after a little bit more boiling and reduced hop additions, we turned it into a pseudo English bitter. And it started out at a gravity of about 1040, which actually is maybe even a little high for an ordinary bitter. Usually they can be around 1035 or so. So the hops I used for this one were Cascade and Simcoe. Yes, I know, those are not English hops, but we were making an American Pale Ale beforehand. I wanted to get a nice citrusy character and a little bit of peach from the Simcoe hops in here. So let's see if we can notice that. Well, you definitely get citrus. I did a few late hop additions. I did not dry hop this one. I did dry hop my latest American Pale Ale, but that's still in the fermenter, so it's not ready yet. Get a little bit of a floral, sweet malty kind of character. The malt is really noticeable as well as the hops, which is nice because we wanted to get the English style of bitter instead of the American style, which is really in your face. Yeah, so the hops are noticeable, but they're pretty light. The malt is crisp, but it's like a biscuity bread kind of character, and that can come from the Maris Otter malt, and a little bit of the crispness is going to come from the two-row. It is from Britain, so the malt is British, but the hops are not. So it's a bit of a give and take relationship there. This is quite nice. The bitters that I've had in England have really not been that bitter, especially compared to U.S. Pale Ales. The English are really all about balance, and they don't like too much malt, they don't like too much hops, they don't like too much yeast either. It's really light session beers that have balance all around with all characteristics. So, to a degree, the English really don't like the Americans for their beers because they think they're and I'm quoting from some brewers, too flavorful. It's a tough description to give. I suppose some beers are, in some respects, too flavorful and don't have balance, but I find it exciting to taste various styles of beer and just really to get the idea of what someone made. I may not choose to drink that all the time, but it's always exciting tasting different beers. This one's quite nice. I like the you get a bit of a citrus character in the finish, and that's from the Cascade. And there's a little bit of a floral character, a little light fruit, maybe peach from the Simcoe. But I expect more of that to come from the American Pale Ale, where I added a bit more hops to it. So overall, this is a nice beer. Again, it's not exactly what I intended to make. And I do have a stout as well that I did not exactly intend to make. But that one turned out a bit better because it turned into more of like a regular sweet stout or chocolate stout. And it tastes quite nice. So I'll get to that one another time, but until then, cheers.